Well, I haven't done an Instagram live in, well, it feels like months. I hope you're doing great. How are you all doing? Tell me where you're from, and wait for people to load in here. We have Toronto. Tell me where you're from, guys. I'd love to. From Kashmir. Wow. Wonderful. I wish I knew that flag, Claudia. Howie, Canadian. Aleb, Mexico. We have Lebanon. We have India. We have Egypt. It's like United Nations of Instagram Live. Nigeria. I miss Lagos. I was in Lagos a few years ago, and it was just wonderful. Miami, Florida, Growth Mastermind Group, Mumbai. Okay, well, look, I don't want to waste your time. I never want to waste your time. I want to offer you some great ideas in this Instagram Live, but I did want to find out where you're all from, and most importantly, I want to say thank you for following my work. I haven't done many Instagram Lives because I've been working on my new book, and my readers from around the world have been fabulously supportive and encouraging. The new book, for everyone wondering, the new book that I've worked on for most of 2020 is now at HarperCollins being copy edited. And that just means they're looking for typos and grammars, but the content of the book is done. And so I'll get it back probably next week, and then we're going to go through a few rounds. And I just want to let you know we are working as quickly as possible to get this new book that I've worked on for 10 months of 2020. Most of my life this year in lockdown and during the pandemic has been spent on this book, and it's been easy at times, and it's been very hard to write at times. My life is different. I used to be on airplanes and traveling, and now I'm in one place. And that served me well in some ways, but in some ways it hasn't been as inspiring as, being in Rome or being in St. Petersburg or being in New York City or being in Stockholm. For those of you who are joining, probably a lot of you have read The Greatness Guide. Yes, I look much younger because I was much younger. And when I wrote The Greatness Guide, a lot of you have loved this book. I am giving away the complete audiobook of The Greatness Guide, no charge whatsoever to my followers. You can go to the link in my bio, here on Instagram, and get complete access to The Greatness Guide audiobook. My way of saying thank you for encouraging me on the new book. Thank you for following my work. Thank you for believing in growth. Thank you for not being a victim and blaming the world, but using this time to grow in your strength and leadership. And what else do I want to say? Well, there's, let me see, where are you wonderful people from? Okay, let's see. Anyway. So there's a woods that I love to walk in, and there's a sign in these woods, and it says from time to time natural disturbances will occur, like fires, like insect infestation, like windstorms, and they will destroy large tracts of this forest. And then the sign goes on to say, this is required for the long-term sustainability of the forest. And I call this, in my work, for example, in my mentoring program, The Circle of Legends online, I call it the forest regeneration metaphor. The forest regeneration metaphor. You see, I've learned, and I'm no guru, but I believe nature knows what she's doing. And often when a cataclysmic event occurs, our egoic nature sees it as bad. But often these white swan or black swan events that hit Earth are necessary for the long-term progress and survival of humanity. The pandemic has created a lot of suffering for all of us. We have lost loved ones. People have lost jobs. The world is different now than it was in March 2020. Having said that, having acknowledged that, it falls to us as leaders, not victims, to look for the benefits and to look for the opportunities and to look for ways that we can use this time of exponential change to grow, to get stronger. And as I talk to people or as I communicate with people, I realize a lot of people are closer to their families than ever before now. A lot of people have started painting and doing things that they've always wanted to do. They're working from home. They're starting to read books. Again, if you're just joining me, a lot of people have loved my worldwide bestseller, The Greatness Guide. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm trying to give you something. The audiobook for this book, The Greatness Guide, I'm giving it away for free. All you need to do is to go to my link in my bio here on Instagram, and you can get the complete audiobook for The Greatness Guide, zero charge. Zero charge. So how can you use this time of the pandemic to grow, to become stronger? I'd say a few things. I'd say, first of all, I'm looking at my notes and I can't even read my writing. So I'm going to go to the second point, which is please be careful in how much you're consuming the news. I never used to watch the news. Now I sort of look at the news because I've realized high quality news allows you to know what's going on, but please be very careful and very discerning so that your sources of news are thoughtful, rigorous sources of news. Clearly, there's a lot of misinformation out there. Secondly, I don't know about you, but I find a lot of times after I read the news, I feel bad. It can be so toxic. So I try to be very disciplined. I'll look at the news every few days and I'll dip in, and I'm just very careful about how much time I spend, because I think you can change the world or you can watch the news. You can't do both. And I've used these past 10 months to write what I hope is the greatest book I've ever written. And I'm not saying I'm so special. I'm really not saying that. But it falls to me on this new book to make it even better than the 5 a.m. Club. And a lot of people who've read the 5 a.m. Club say it's a very strong piece of work. But I'm not going to rest on my laurels of the 5 a.m. Club. So I did put a lot of pressure on myself because I'm only as good as my last book, and I need the new book. And I will be announcing the name of the new book in the near future. But this book had to be so much better than the 5 a.m. Club book. Otherwise, why am I in the game? If not to upgrade my craft, if not to better serve my readers. So if I was watching the news all day and playing with my phone, I couldn't have written what I hope is, the best book I've ever written, the deepest book I've ever written. And this new book it was hard a lot of the times because I went so deep. I shared a lot of my personal struggles, a lot of my frustrations, a lot of my weaknesses. And so I hope it's, the 5 a.m. Club, which so many people around the world love. I had characters to hide behind. But in this new book, it's just me and you. And I've shared a lot of information that I've never shared before. So please be careful in how much you consume the news. Let me just see if I can go to some live video here. Okay, I'm seeing if we can get some live video. I just find it fun. It makes it more real, I think. Hey!
Hey, Robin, how are you?
Are you David?
I am, yeah.
So where are you, David?
I'm in Boston, Massachusetts.
Boston, Massachusetts. Well, there used to be a place called Stephanie's in Boston that had the best chicken salad I've ever had in my life. I don't
Oh,
know.
nice. What part is that in?
The busy part. I think it was actually Newbury Street. Is that
Oh,
right?
no kidding. I'll take a look. I was there the other day.
Great restaurant. How are you doing through the pandemic?
Not too bad. Not too bad. I've got my work from home set up here, just powering through. So it's weird being in a city during a pandemic. I'll say that. It's not busy, it's very quiet. So it's kind of nice in a way. Allows me to focus on what I want to get done.
What kind of I hear you. What kind of like how do you feel? Are you worried about the future? Or are you seeing this as a time of opportunity?
I'd say worry, but it's good to surround myself with like family and close friends and more just kind of be hopeful and do my day to day and try to get out into like nature and read and things like that. And I don't know if you saw my comment, but you actually were my inspiration to publish my own book this March, right here.
Let me
It's
see the title, please.
it's called One Student to Another.
Oh, I love it. What's the subtitle?
200 tips to ensure college success.
I love it, David.
Thank
Bravo.
you.
And did you write the book in the pandemic?
No, I wrote it during my last semester of college and published it during the pandemic. So I had to go to my printing company with my mask on and all that stuff. So it's been interesting, publishing a book for students when all of the students are at home pretty much. So
Yeah, and I guess they're all going to online learning, right? Or many of them.
yeah, a lot of them are high school and college.
Well, listen, if you have a question, I'm happy to answer it. If not, it's just been great to meet you and to chat with you. And what's the title of your book again for everyone watching?
It's one student to another,
One student to
200
another.
tips to ensure college success. So you can
Good,
find
good
it
man.
just right there, one student to another.com. Just those words and then .com.
Good for you, David. Um,
But I love your book. I bought 10 copies of The Saint, the Surfer, and the CEO about a year ago and sent them out to people all across the country because I loved it so much.
I'm glad that my work is helping you, and keep up the great work you're doing. And it's wonderful to meet you. I think you're just going to keep on flying from the sense I have from you.
Oh, thank you. I
Good,
appreciate that a lot.
good, David. Nice to see you.
Good to see you too.
All right. So what I was suggesting is that you please moderate the news, because it can create cortisol, and it can be so toxic. And the job of the news in many ways is to scare you. The job of the news in many ways is to scare you. It doesn't often report the full picture. You just heard David on the video call with me, and he's doing a few things. He's reading a lot of books, and he's spending time in nature. And I think trying to get out to nature as much as possible. I try to get out. It's autumn where I live, and I try to get out to nature every day. I get up early. I do my morning routine. If you don't know the 20-20-20 formula, you can read about it in the 5 a.m. club. But I always work out in the morning. It's very, very important for me to build that pharmacy of mastery. And just by working out in the morning and sweating to release the BDNF, I feel so much stronger. And my mood is so much higher. And I'm so much more focused because of the norepinephrine that is released through exercise, which dials in your focus in this age of dramatic distraction and tremendous unfocus. So please, again, watch the news so you know what's going on and you can pivot and protect your family and your business and react, but don't be addicted to the news. Second thing I would say is this is a great time to work on gratitude. I have my journal with me all the time, and I do these. This is what the inside of my journal looks like, and I often do all these models and mind maps and frameworks in there where I can sort of deconstruct everything. But writing in a journal every morning where you record how you're feeling to process through any, if you're suffering from anxiety or you're worried, to release that fear from your system so you don't repress it. Writing it out in a journal is very powerful, and even recording gratitude. Sonia Lubomirsky, who was on my stage at the Titan Summit, the final Titan Summit last December 2019, she writes in her wonderful book, The How of Happiness, she writes of this term deliberate gratitude. Deliberate gratitude. So gratitude, to be happier, gratitude must not be once a year on New Year's Day. Gratitude must be a deliberate, active, intentional, conscious process. And a great way to do it is, old school pen, journal, writing about, what you're grateful for, and make it deliberate. And in the new book I'm writing, I call it micro gratitude. So you don't want to just look at the big picture things like your health. I have my family, I have a roof over my head. Get granular, get into micro gratitude. The smallest things, find the awe and wonder and the magic in them. And by practicing it, you get great at it. You practice chess, you'll get great at chess. You practice gratitude by saying, oh, the smell of this shirt coming out of the dryer. Oh, it's wonderful. Or you practice deliberate gratitude when you're eating. You savor the food, the texture. You say thank you to the farmer. You say thank you to the grocer. You say thank you to the stock boy or stock girl or stock person who stocked it. And life becomes a laboratory of gratitude if you live like this. So please journal and practice active and what I call micro gratitude. Next thing to navigate the pandemic, again, exercise is really so very powerful. One of my favorite books is Spark, and Spark by John Rady, who is a physician, is wonderful. But exercise, it'll release the dopamine, it'll release the serotonin, it'll reduce the cortisol, it'll help you feel better and live longer, it'll extend your telomeres, it will reduce inflammation. And I'm no expert, but from what I've read about COVID, it really attacks people with high inflammation. And I also found something interesting. I'm not giving you medical advice because I'm not a doctor and I don't play one on the internet. But from what I've read, the people with COVID, 90% of them had low vitamin D. So I've really stocked up on vitamin D. I take, I'm not giving advice, I'm just telling you what I do. I take 50,000 UIs of vitamin D every Monday morning. But exercising is really powerful as you go through the pandemic. And don't just do it once a day, do it twice a day. And that's what the Second Wind workout is about. If you don't know what the Second Wind workout is, you can read the 5 a.m. Club. And if you want to start a morning routine, which is probably the most important thing I do to stay strong and focused and peaceful and productive and creative during the pandemic, you can read the 5am Club because it talks about the morning routine that is helping millions of people increase their health and increase their mindset, increase their heart set, and stay peaceful. And if you don't want to read the 5am Club book, it's no problem whatsoever. I still want to serve you and give you great information here on this Instagram Live. Final thing I'd say is this is a fabulous time to produce the work you've always wanted to produce. So nature in all her wisdom has forced us to slow down. Many of us were living our lives like a 5-alarm fire before the pandemic. I've always tried to have a lot of balance in my life. I've always tried to spend a lot of time with my family. But I was traveling a lot too, and giving these keynotes and traveling the world. And I don't know if I'm going to keep the same pace of keynotes after the pandemic is over, because I just love being a writer again. And I love shooting these videos, and I love the quietude and the stillness. And a lot of my books, I'm reading this book right now they call this the Great American Novel, because I want to improve my life as a writer. I'm reading this book right now. so I can be a better writer. And I mean, these are, I hadn't planned to show you these, but that says Writing Down the Bones. It's another book on writing. And I have, this one's great. If you want to be a writer, all I'm trying to suggest to you with great love and respect is this is a great time to produce your music and your magic. And it's a great time to write the screenplay you've always wanted to write. It's a great time to write your masterwork. It's a great time to upgrade your skills via online learning so you become a master of your craft. Yes, there's a lot of joblessness. Yes, there's a lot of competition. Yes, there's a lot of businesses closing, but there will always be room for world class. People will always pay for mastery. People will always pay for mastery. And that's why education is so incredibly important. We can blame the pandemic, we can blame the world, we can blame the disruption and the volatility of the economy. Or we can ask ourselves, how can I use this time to read the books, to take the courses, to listen to the podcasts, to write in the journal, to create my plans so that I architect a beautiful future. I mean, we can play victim right now, or we can say, how can we use this time to upgrade ourselves, to upgrade our mindsets, heart sets, health sets, and soul sets, to work on our craft, to become even more clear in how we want to live out the rest of our lives. And most importantly, how can we do that not only to honor our own ambitions, but to serve the world? And I think that's one of the benefits from the pandemic. It's caused us to understand we're destroying the world. If you haven't watched the documentary by David Attenborough, it's called something like My Life on Our Planet. You can just Google David Attenborough documentary, and you can see what we've done as a species to our planet. And that documentary by Sir David Attenborough, it brought tears to my eyes because what we've done collectively to the world, it's so beautiful, what Mother Nature has given us, and we've so destroyed it. But it was also inspiring because if we make the right moves and we respect Mother Nature, if we respect life, if we respect each other, if we respect our interior genius, and if we live in a way that's noble, which is so much about what the new book is about, we have great hope for the future. So I don't know if you have questions. As I mentioned, if you're just joining us, in 2005, I wrote a book called The Greatness Guide, 15 or 16 years ago. And I'm giving away the audiobook, the full audiobook to The Greatness Guide, zero charge whatsoever. You'll find the link in my bio here on Instagram. My way of supporting you, encouraging you, saying thank you to you, believing in you, and saying use this time of the pandemic when the majority of people are terrified to unterrify yourself. Learn to meditate, learn to pray, read the great books, write in a journal, walk in nature, take courses online so you upgrade your skills and you make yourself a stronger human being. I think the great goal of a master is to be sitting in a war zone and not suffering because you're still at peace. You draw your power not from externals, but from that inner core of wisdom, heroism, light, love, and strength that you are. And that's not some kind of a pie in the sky. There have been women and men on the planet who have got to that place of personal mastery. And I wish that for you. And maybe I wish it a little bit for myself because I sure am not there as well. I have a long way to go, but I'm working really hard on myself as well. So let me go to some videos here. So thank you for the Philippines. Thank you for everyone from, let's see here. We can get some people in here. God bless you too, Dr. Kavindra. I see Grigor, flat apartment. How are you?
Hello there.
What's your name?
My name is Vlatko.
Vladko?
Vlatko, yes, from Croatia.
Oh, I was in Zagreb. I was in Zagreb a few years ago,
Really?
and I had such a beautiful time. Are you in Zagreb?
No, 2,200 kilometers from Zagreb.
200 kilometers. I
Yes.
love you. I love your country very much. And then I went to
Me
this.
also.
I know you must. And then I went to the south, called a place called, is it Plots or it starts with a P?
Ploče.
Yes. And is it on the water?
Yes, Dalmatia, near the sea.
Near the sea. It was
Yes, yes.
very beautiful.
Also no.
So how are you doing?
Well, very well. I was night shift and now I am also reading a book of my own.
You're writing a book of your own. A lot of people are writing books.
Yeah.
Let me see your book. What's the name of it?
Remember why you started.
Wonderful. And what's the book
Yeah.
about?
It's about one mister who organized a seminar with some people and he told them how to make a good life.
Very good. And is it based on your wisdom?
Yes, and on my idol, I don't know if you know him, it's Robin Sharma.
Oh, you're
Yeah.
you're more than generous. You know, you're very kind, but I don't want to be anyone's idols because I'm so ordinary, you know, and I don't want anyone to think I'm any different from anyone, but you're very kind to say that. Do you have a family in Croatia?
Of course, wife and two daughters,
How old are your kids?
17 and 16.
Wow, you look young. You look young
They
for a
are
second.
black. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. And how are you doing in the pandemic? Are you worried or are you okay?
No, we are okay. I'm here in Istra. We are only green area in Europe with
Wow.
that pandemic. Yeah. Croatia is something like orange, near red, but Istra, that area in Croatia is green. So it's very good now.
Do you have to wear masks?
Yes, in places, markets, and so on, but not on the open space.
Nice. Well,
Yeah.
it's nice. It's nice to meet you, and I hope you get your book out to the world. And congratulations for doing the book. It's not an easy process, right?
Of course. But like you said, it is hard on the beginning, messy in the middle, and the blessing at the end. So it's something like that.
Yeah, all change is hard at first, messy in the middle, and beautiful at the end.
Yes, yes.
And you know, I think it makes another important point, which is those things that are hardest to do are generally the things that are most valuable to do.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's nice to see you, and thank you for your kind words. And I wish you and your family great health and lots of success and lots of happiness.
It will be. Thank you. You also.
Take care.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. If you have any questions, let me know your questions. If not, I'm going to call it. I'm going to call it a day on Instagram Live. Okay. Unless I'm not seeing this, I don't see any other questions, guys. So I want to say thank you. If you want the audiobook to The Greatness Guide, if you're just joining us, I am giving the complete audiobook to my #1 seller, The Greatness Guide. I'm giving it away to my followers for free. You can just go to the link in my bio and you can get access to it. No charge whatsoever. My way of hopefully encouraging you, giving you some world-class information and helping you navigate these volatile times. Someone's asking, is there a new book coming out? Yes, I've spent the past 10 months during lockdown, during this pandemic, writing my new book. And it's now at HarperCollins being copy edited. Any other questions? All right. Thank you, guys. You're thanking me. I want to thank you because I get to write these books and do these videos because of your graciousness and your kindness. And I want to just say I really appreciate the opportunity to be of service. Stand strong in this pandemic. Look for the benefits, look for the opportunities, and use this time to grow and build yourself so you become the hero that we're all waiting for. I send you the very best. Take care. Bye.